Okay, what do we got here?
Johnny Boyle, you want to get us going? Are you on there?
Sure. Pete, yep, I'm here. Pete, we saw Bobby's ruled out. I know he was kind of holding out some hope early in the week. Just was he close? Kind of what? How tough was that for him to?
No, if it had been close, we'd have gone farther with it. It's just he's got some swelling and it just didn't loosen up enough. He's got a tight knee, so he can't do it. If he could, if there was any way, he would. But he can't.
Jen?
Looks like you might have a question mark at safety with Ryan Neal on the COVID list. What do you like about Nigel Warrior and perhaps Johnson filling in?
Will you say that again, please, Jen? I couldn't understand it. You guys were yelling over here.
It looks like you might need to find another safety with Ryan Neal on the COVID list this week. What do you like about possibly Nigel Warrior or Johnson filling in?
We got. I'm going to wait and see on that one who's going to play. We don't need to show you right now, but we got guys at work this week and we're ready to go. And we've got, we had to work out our backup situation too, to that. So, but we got it worked out, and I'm looking forward to seeing these guys play.
Bob?
Yeah, with Bobby out, obviously Cody, I guess, gets to start at middle linebacker. Just I know you talked about it a little bit on Monday, but just the idea of him getting to start at middle linebacker, I assume, just kind of what your expectations for him would be.
Thanks. Yeah. Well, first off, it is a great opportunity for him to play some football. He's been waiting for his chances, and so it's great for him to get out there. He is so well grooved at what he's doing, and just like he picked up, and took over last week really well. He'll do that again this week. Expectation, I just want him to relax and have fun playing football, and make sure that he's in charge of that huddle. And these guys go faster. They're a high tempo team, so he's got a lot of burden in that regard. But nothing that he can't handle. I'm expecting him to play really well.
Corbin?
Hey, Pete, how's Gabe Jackson doing with his knee? Is he going to be ready to go for this weekend? And if not, is Phil Haynes in line to maybe play at right guard this week?
Well, first off, Gabe will go all the way to game time, see how it goes. He's been kind of in and out, nursing the knee a little bit, at times, and we've taken care of him through the year in practice and stuff like that. So, but it's a little bit worse than it's been. So I can't tell you. We won't know till Sunday. But that's likely. Yeah, it's likely, that we would get a chance to see Phil.
Thanks.
Michael Sean?
Pete, what about Will Dissly?
Same thing with Will. When Will's got a sore heel, and we're going to go all the way to game time and see what happens on that one too. It's just an unusual injury. I don't remember one like this, but so I can't tell you anything other than it's uncomfortable for him. I know that he's going to have to fight through it if he goes.
Did he get kicked in the heel or something?
I think that's what happened. On his way, somebody got him. Another player got him.
And of the guys you have on COVID list, things like Al, Alton, Ryan, is anybody potentially coming back, do you think?
Yeah, Alton will be able to come back on tomorrow, so he'll be back with us tomorrow.
And
it should be. Yeah, that's one of the three guys. Yeah.
Thanks.
John Boyle.
Yeah, Pete, you said last year, I think it was the end of the year press conference, you wanted to run the ball more in part to get teams out of two deep looks a lot. Have you been seeing now Rashad Penny's been going like he's going, the running game's going? Is this kind of what you were looking for last year, the offense local?
Yeah, we're averaging 170 yards or something in the game rushing for the last month or so, and that's the statement that you make, where people have to defend you, and they got to make their choice. Not everybody will, but I think it's pretty hard to just let teams run like that. So most teams will adjust and show some different looks to take care of it.
Tim?
Pete, back to Bobby for a second. Did he fight you on it at all, or was it a pretty sort of reasoned decision on his part to sit out this week?
No, Bobby's been around long enough, and we've communicated long enough that he knows what he can do. He really has great awareness of whether he could or not. If it was possible, he would be ready to go for it. But it just isn't going to make it. So we're really listening to him a lot on this one, and his knee's swollen, so it's pretty obvious.
Greg?
So about Gabe Jackson, we really haven't talked to you about an assessment of his season. How did that go? And then your offensive line in general coming out of this season, how do you feel it stands? And did you find something, maybe a new right tackle from Jake Curran?
Well, first off, talking about Gabe Jackson, he's had a really strong year. He's played well all season long. He's been really good in the running game. You can see the results of it here as we're wrapping up the season. He's been a big factor, front side runs and back side. He's been a real force. I think he's been a great addition to us. I like the way our guys have played. They played strong. We always want to keep our sack numbers down better than we had this year. But other than that, these guys have blocked the running game and worked really hard and been physical and tough. And I like what we got. Jake has really helped us. We didn't know that would happen. That's a big surprise. Coming, going into camp, we wouldn't have known that he could fit in so well because we didn't know him well enough. But now that we've learned who he is and what he's all about, and the kind of competitor that he is, and the savvy that he brings to it, I can see why, he's been able to come through now. All of our guys have played well. B. Shell played really well too when he was there. Played physical and strong. And the play of Will Dissly has been a big part of all of that play too. Will's a big time blocker, and he's as good as anybody in the NFL. I like the way these guys play. And you can see we can run football, and it's obvious.
Rashad Penny running to the backside and being decisive, cutting to the backside. Is that something that's been new for him in the last month? Or do you see any of the evidence of this?
Well, he's been able to take advantage of the looks and the way our guys have been blocking. Our guys are sharp and really precise about setting things up, and he's just got the runners have to make their decision and get there. And sometimes he's had big runs front side and back side, but he is good at it, and he's big enough. You notice there's a lot of runs where he's run through the line of scrimmage where a lineman will reach out, and Harris last week had a hit on him going through at the line of scrimmage, and he just he stays on course and busts through, and that really adds and makes the blocks fit better. When the guy can get through the line of scrimmage and get to the second level.
Do you feel rewarded for sticking by Penny as an organization? That this is the payoff for doing that?
I don't think there's any doubt. It's just been a long haul because of the injury. But what's up, fellas? Hey, Amy. It is the benefit of really a guy that stayed after it, and you got to give him a lot of credit now. I mean, the reason he couldn't go is because he wasn't right, and it took him a long time to get through that because it was a serious injury. And but now that he's come out at this end of it, now you can really see it. It's been really exciting for us as a club, but also for him. And so I think what you can see is what we saw. I think he's shown that. Yeah.
Jen?
Okay, there we go. When we talked to Ryan Neal earlier this week, he said that playing alongside Quandre gave him a lot of confidence because you can trust what Quandre sees and says. Right. What kind of value is that when you're going to have to play somebody else, but Quandre's still the steady?
Yeah, it's a classic illustration of guys. Some guys make other players better, and they just help other players. And whether it's giving them the confidence or actually making the alerts and the heads-up calls and making sure that they can focus on their job because all the decision-making is done from that person. And Quandre is all of that. He is all of that. He makes guys play better. He's really astute about the game. He sees things happening before it happens, and that's what great players have always been able to do. They can anticipate the play as it's developing, and he's one of those guys. And he's helping other guys do the same. So he's a big deal. He will help. He helps us in many ways. He'll help the guy that's playing next to him for sure.
Mike Sean?
Pete, when we talked to Bobby on Wednesday, he had expressed optimism that he would be back next season. Do you express that same optimism?
I would love Bobby to play here forever. He's been as solid as you could ever want a player to be, and we've kind of grown up as Seahawks together here in this program over the years, and I'd love for him to be here.
And one more.
I don't see why we'd be thinking anything else.
And one more, just in terms of pass protection, would you say this is one of the better years the group has had?
I don't, statistically, it's not a whole lot better in terms of the sack numbers, But I like the way we've controlled the line of scrimmage in the pocket. I think the pocket's been better. I think we've been firmer and stouter inside, more consistent inside. D-Lou and and Ethan and Gabe and really Phil too when he played again this week. So I just think the contour of it has fit better, and we've been more consistent in that regard.
Thanks.
Sure.
Bob?
Yeah, Carlos Dunlap, does he have a chance to play this week? Or
He does. Yeah, he practiced today, got through it, and I think that shows that he's got a chance to go.
And one other, what have you been able to see out of Jacob Eason this year?
Well, he hasn't had a ton of work. We see him every day in practice. He's got really, really big time tools. Throwing the football. He's got a great arm. He's got a terrific release. He's light on his feet. Moves well. Smart. Really got the stature of standing in the pocket and he moves well enough that he has some factor in running. He's not going to be a big runner, but he moves. Everything's out ahead of him. His whole the future for Jake is really out there, and it's an exciting prospect for the long haul. I mean, remember he was considered the most talented quarterback in the country coming out when he was like a sophomore or something like that. I think when he declared he was going to Georgia as a sophomore. I can't even fathom that kind of decision being made when you're 15, but so he is a talented player, and we got to see if we can bring all that to the front and let him show what he can do. There's that
Okay.
pause.
Thank you,
All right,
everyone.
see you guys.